Welcome to the deep dive. We're going beyond the headlines today, really looking at how things are shifting.
That's right. And this time, it's all about renewable energy in June. Some really surprising developments.
Yeah, things impacting energy access, jobs, the whole picture. You'll definitely see things differently after this.
We've picked out about 6 key developments that, well, they really stood out to us this month. A lot of ingenuity.
Okay, let's get into it. First up, Nigeria. Sounds like more than just panels going up.
Definitely. In Jigawa, there's this new solar farm.
Yeah.
But the big story is also the jobs, like 2,000 during construction.
Wow, 2,000. And permanent roles, too.
Yeah, around 200 long-term tech jobs.
Oh.
And interestingly, they're partnering with UNICEF.
Oh, how so?
They're actually training teenage girls as solar engineers. It's about building local skills, lasting impact.
That's fantastic. A real model, potentially, for other places in Africa facing similar challenges. Energy poverty, youth unemployment.
Exactly. It tackles both.
But with solar, there's always the question, what about nighttime? Consistency.
Right. And that's where the storage comes in. They're using Tesla's lithium-ion batteries.
Ah, okay. So that solves the intermittency problem.
Pretty much. It means reliable, 247 power, and it's directly replacing coal, which is obviously a huge win.
Okay, great start. Let's pivot now over to the U.S. Something about oil wells.
Yeah, this one's quite a shift. You've got former oil and gas engineers taking old, abandoned oil wells and retrofitting them for geothermal energy.
Really? Geothermal from oil wells. How does that stack up economically?
Well, that's the key. The U.S. Inflation Reduction Act helps a lot here. There's a 30% tax credit for these projects.
So that makes it viable now, using existing infrastructure.
Exactly. It suddenly makes these old wells attractive again. And the skills. They transfer pretty well from oil and gas.
That's smart. Are the big players noticing?
Seems like it. Even major companies like Saudi Aramco are reportedly looking into this geothermal tech.
Interesting. So this could be part of a real transition for that workforce.
It certainly points that way. Shows how policy can, nudge things along, find new uses for old assets and skills.
Okay, let's hop over to Europe. Portugal and a Key water battery.
Yeah. That's what they're calling the Alto Lindoso Dam project. It's basically pumped hydro storage.
Right, pumped hydro. So you use cheap power to pump water up.
Exactly. When they have excess wind energy, they pump water uphill into the reservoir.
And then,
during peak demand, they release the water back down through turbines. Generates about 1.2 gigawatts.
1.2 gigawatts, that's huge. That's like a nuclear power plant's output, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. It's a massive amount of storage capacity.
And how does the cost compare? I know some storage projects can get really expensive.
That's another impressive part. Portugal managed to do this relatively cost-effectively, especially compared to, say, similar projects in California that have cost a lot more.
Shows it can be done then. Big-scale storage without breaking the bank.
Right. And it fits perfectly with their goal. They're aiming for 100% renewables by 2040. This kind of storage is vital for that.
Okay, now for something a bit more complicated globally. Chinese solar panels. Prices have dropped.
Dropped significantly, by about 50% this year, actually.
50%? Why such a steep drop?
It seems mostly driven by manufacturers trying to sell off older models quickly before new, stricter tariffs are imposed by places like the U.S. and Europe, sort of clearing out inventory.
Okay. So on the one hand, that makes solar cheaper for countries that need it, right? Like that project in Nigeria could benefit.
Absolutely. It lowers the barrier for entry for many developing nations. Big potential upside there.
But on the other hand, Western countries aren't too happy.
Well, there are concerns about market dumping. Yeah.
Yeah.
The U.S., for instance, has slapped on some really high duties, like 200% on certain imports.
So hints of a potential, green energy war brewing. Trade tensions.
It certainly raises those questions. How global trade interacts with the green transition. It's complex.
Right. Okay, let's shift to India. A different kind of solar story there. Rooftops.
A massive story, yeah. They are installing rooftop solar at an incredible rate. We're talking something like 10,000 installations daily.
10,000 a day. Wow. How are they managing that scale, especially for, regular households?
There's a really clever financing scheme. For poorer households, the installation itself is free up front.
Free. So how does it get paid for?
Through the savings on their electricity bill. The savings essentially pay back the cost over time. Makes it super accessible.
That's smart. And it's working.
Oh, absolutely. Rooftop solar installations in India grew by something like 400% last year alone.
400%. Incredible. It really shows the power of these distributed solutions, doesn't it? Simple but scalable.
Exactly. It highlights how individual homes and buildings collectively can make a massive difference in the energy mix.
So lots to think about there. For you listening, which of these trends really jumps out? Is it the potential in Africa, that oil-to-geothermal switch, or maybe India's rooftop revolution?
Yeah, we're curious what resonates most with you. Or maybe there's a cool local clean energy project happening where you are.
Let us know in the comments. Tell us what you think is the most exciting development. We do read them.
Definitely. We'd love to hear your perspectives.
All right. Next time, we're going to be looking at something completely different, using AI to predict wildfires.
Ooh, fascinating topic.
It is. So, until then, keep digging deeper
And stay curious.